change your mind.
You require my assistance? Adigo! We're gonna be rich.
I have no time for games.
Inferno! You require my assistance? Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
Heyo, we're back again. After the brief recess, we have a match to play tonight. As anybody who was in chat during the reveal stream saw, we are going to be doing Catman versus RonMexico, with a potential for possibly the winner playing Shadow Ranger after, since that's what's up on the bracket. So we are ready to hopefully get going shortly here. But while we do, I should say we, being myself, Icon, and Saku here, we are still getting the bans. It looks like we've gotten the shields so far. So we're trying to get a little bit more info to make sure we have the accurate info for you guys. Icon, are you back? Are you excited for this match?
Yeah, definitely. I am definitely excited for this match.
You sound like a man who's just bursting with excitement right now.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I'm just trying to figure out how to multi-box Hearthstone and WoW right now, just to see if I have the RAM to do that, so.
Or you could just focus on the one really cool thing that's happening.
Yeah, I know. I may have I may have and WoW, dude. I'm tuning in for this business, bro.
Yeah, you don't have to wait in that queue again. I can understand.
I'm ready.
So let's see what we got here. So the shield for our players tonight, it's going to be Catman shielding his warrior and RonMexico shielding his hunter. Which, by the way, we didn't really talk about the decks during the stream, the real stream. I'm going to go ahead and post that up in a blog post about what the distribution looks like. But this is what these guys are playing tonight. So Catman is playing Paladin, Shaman, Warlock, and Warrior. And it's a Holy Wrath Paladin, which surprisingly was tied for the most common Paladin, despite really not being represented at all in the group phase. And he's playing a Quest Shaman, which is the most common Shaman, Zoo Warlock, and also Aggro Warrior. So he's an Aggro Warrior, not the Control Warrior. There are 19 of 20 players who brought Warrior. 14 were Control, 4 were Aggro, and 1 was the straight up Bomb Warrior, and that was Triss. But so that's Catman. He's shielding the warrior, and then let's see. We got RonMexico playing Quest Druid, Highlander Hunter, Murloc Paladin, a personal favorite of mine, and also Aggro Warrior. So we've got 2 warriors, but neither of them are control. We'll definitely be seeing the Highlander Hunter out with Imagine, since that's what he's shielding. And let's see if we can get some ban information. What do you think about those shields there, Icon?
Oh god, sorry, I
Yep.
accidentally hit the deafen key. So I think the shields are fairly interesting. What did you say was banned? Or shielded?
Shielded is the Highlander Hunter of RonMexico and the Aggro Warrior of Catman.
The one from Catman is really strange, but I think that the Highlander Hunter makes a lot of sense. Highlander Hunter is incredibly flexible, um, but it depending on the sort of aggro classes that Catman decides to run into the Highlander Hunter, it could prove to be a little bit of a Achilles heel for Ron. But I think Highlander Hunter can get wins almost anywhere. It's actually really insane how flexible that deck is, and I think that if you're bringing that deck in a 4-deck Shielded Conquest, it's like one of the best shields. Like it's never really super wrong to shield. Highlander Hunter, that is.
So I do have the bans now, and so Catman's just going full warrior. He shielded his warrior and banned the warrior for RonMexico. So no aggro warrior mirrors, and then the rogue. Catman's rogue will be banned. That's a tempo rogue. Wait, rogue? Does he have rogue? Did I say he had rogue? He doesn't
I
have
don't
rogue, dude.
think so. Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
Uh, did he mess up his ban? I'll have to check with Ron real quick.
Yeah, that seems kind of whack. Huh.
I'll let you talk while I text.
Sure. So Catman versus Ron Mexico is something that actually could go either way, depending. Catman favoring the little bit more unconventional lineup, and I gotta say, I am glad to see the Quest Druid coming out. I think that it's kind of a underrated deck, and it rolls over hard to like a couple specific aggressive decks, but I think the mid game for it is really, really strong, and I'm happy to see it seeing more play. So looking at the deck list now, I believe has Ron Mexico chosen to go with more of the Malagos quest druid build or the the Nomi build?
I think Nomi's pretty much the standard at this point.
Okay, then I mean, glad to see that. It's got actually probably the best matchup with Warrior that you can get with Druid, although even that's still kind of beatable. But definitely going to be interesting to see if he brings that out as sort of a like counter pick if he can force a specific matchup if he knows that perhaps like I know there's situations that Fuel and myself ran into both as quest druid players where if you know that your opponent doesn't want to play one specific deck against you, so that that's not going to they're not going to queue that, and then they win with one, and so essentially they're locked down to like a specific deck, and then you can get some super favorable polarized matchups by running Quest Druid into that. So definitely a lot of sort of macro level counterplay options that both Ron and Catman can engage in. And did you figure out if he has Rogue or not?
He doesn't have rogue. He does not have a rogue. So I think what was happening was I posted the decks did not update in the spreadsheet itself under match 1, match 2, match 3. But the tab on the spreadsheet that I created, that does actually it's updated. So I think that he was just looking in the wrong spot. But so I pulled up Catman's list. I just want to talk about his list real quick, and we can talk about Ron's as well. But so Catman, the Shaman is a little bit of a heavier build for the Quest Shaman. He's got Shudderwalk in there. He's got Elysiana and the Walking Fountain. So it's like kind of like a hybrid big control Quest Shaman. Giggling Inventors out there, Swamp Queen Hagatha. So like he's got some heavy stuff in the deck, which I think is interesting. Could give him a little bit more juice against the control decks that are out there.
I mean, yeah, interesting to see like sort of the more top-heavy build of Quest Shaman. Typically, Quest Shaman has been built pretty low to the ground and tried to include the most low mana battle cries as possible, just for that really fast quest completion. And then subsequently, they would grind out opponents using a multitude of like small double battle cries, the burst from the lackeys, the small like 1/1 hand generation, the lackey control cards, but. Interesting to see him going with a more control shell with this. We'll definitely see how that works out for him.
Yeah, the warrior is more standard, pretty standard aggro warrior list with the actually I should say the militia commander is a little bit different. I know they're strong cards, but they don't go face, which is what you want to do. And he's got Ziliax in
True.
there too. This is Catman's list, and then Paladin is the Holy Wrath Paladin with Zephyrus, because Zephyrus just goes in every deck. Why not? and maybe you get an extra Holy Wrath out of it. Who knows? Or an extra Shrivala.
Oh, whoa, yeah. I mean, if you're drawing a lot of cards, it's never a bad idea to throw Zephyrus in, you know? Like, your deck can't get any worse by pulling a perfect top deck out of thin air.
And I mean, with that deck, you are intending to go all the way through the deck. So you're gonna get to use them. And if he pulls a timeout or something too, I mean that's completely useful. I haven't seen it in Holy Wrath Balan yet, but it's definitely worth the inclusion. It's also in his Zoo Warlock deck, which I find interesting because even though Zoo Warlock does want to draw a lot and get a lot of its cards really quickly, he still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 duplicates in his deck. So I think the likelihood of getting a Zephyrus off is probably pretty low in that deck.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the best suited inclusion to me, but you know, something could always work out. Life taps are a thing. We'll see if he manages to trigger it.
Well, it's not going to matter because the new ban is Warlock, so we're not going to see the
Oh,
Zoo
okay.
Warlock. Saka, do you have that updated there?
I gotta say hi to my dad. I'll be right back.
I've noted it, so we're all good.
Perfect.
Just waiting for the players to get sorted too.
Alright, the paternal figure has been greeted. Warlock ban is in, and Catman has banned Warrior. That seems like a very solid ban out of Catman if I were gonna target a Highlander Hunter. Which he actually can't even do in Shielded anymore, but I mean, if you were gonna target a deck, I'd probably make it not Warrior. I mean, even after the boom changes, the ability to rush on mechs is just so insane, especially as an aura. So glad
Oh yeah,
that
Boom
he's
is still a legit card. I mean, it's one of the few cards that has been nerfed that I didn't even bother dusting because I know I was just gonna recraft.
yeah.
I was like, let's not kid ourselves. We're gonna be using this card in the upcoming season of THL.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when we do go, we're gonna have Catman on the bottom. We're gonna have RonMexico on the top, and I hope you're friends with both of them, Mike.
Oh, see, I'm friends with Catman. I don't know if I don't actually think I have Ron yet, so you're gonna have to hand me his B tag real quick.
I will do that.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I haven't actually been playing in THL when Ron has been playing, so don't think we crossed paths yet.
Yeah,
11,
I
6,
suggested
8,
that
6.
everybody who is still remaining in the tournament give me an invite, a friend request, which I still do if you have not, because for those who don't know, if you try to give away a prize, you have to be friends with someone for at least 7 days
7
first.
days, right? Yeah.
Yep. So I figure if you friend me now and you happen to win prizes, I can give you your stuff as soon as this thing ends, and I, don't have to worry about making an inventory on who I've paid out and who I have not, because that is not fun.
Very true.
Did you let him know, or would you like me to let him know? Awesome.
Oh, your New England's coming out, Donda.
Yeah, I usually do it ironically, like how I say y'all, because I'm not from the South.
Dude, all of the ATL people, like Mark Shear imprinted that on me, man. I don't usually say y'all, like I'm Californian, but dude, it's like, it's a thing now, man. And it's just
Sometimes
like,
it's just a convenient way
yeah,
to
it's a
talk.
shortening, man. Yeah, it just works.
Looks like they are starting to go here.
All right.
So hopefully Saku's jumping in. I will jump in. And let's
Jumping
see
in.
what we're looking at in the first game. It's going to be the Aggro Warrior for Catman versus the Highlander Hunter of Iran, Mexico.
Let the hunt begin. Victory or death!
So Mulligan coming up, and Here's a question: if you're Ron right now, are you playing
that.
this as the You trying to play this as the control, or are you trying to just tempo him out and get board control and then never give it up?
I think you have to. You know, Highlander Hunter obviously wants to go further, and you got to watch out. You got to move around the potential traps that are going to
Oh
be
my god.
that are going to be played. That is,
That's an
that's
amazing tracking, actually.
not bad, not bad. I mean, Catman's only real choice there was whether or not he wanted to coin out Temple Berserker. It's not exactly a power play, and he opts to just pass. These boys are playing quick here. That was a rat trap, by the way, for those who missed it. That is the current. And about the only thing that Catman knows is it's not snipe, because he did not get sniped when he played his Temple Berserker.
Gonna be dropping that animal companion on 3. You're not too disappointed to see Leok, but again, something like maybe a Misha would have been nice, because that 4/4 stat line is gonna line up well into things that Catman chooses to do, such as a whole bunch of 5/1s. Bloodsworn Mercenary is gonna
Yeah, it's a strong
bang out
card.
on him. Yeah, wow.
I mean, even if you're not using it for like end game combos, like a Leroy in a rage, and then use that to just deal 16 straight damage, but he's gonna have the perfect counter here with the Spring Paw, Unleash the Hounds, to clear off these high damage Temple Berserkers and still do a little bit of face damage. Gonna test for that trap, and now he knows he's tested for everything that's not rat trap. So complete disregard for the 1/1 that's out there. Could have used either of the militia commanders in hand, but he's just saying Korkron Elite, it's Smork time, and I guess I can't blame him. You know, you want to play the deck aggressive.
Yeah, I think that if you're Catman, you're on a clock, and that clock is directly related to how much life your opponent has on the table, and I don't think that trading with a 1/1 really advances that game plan too much. So I like
Sure.
sort of playing the old mid-range hunter style of gameplay where you say, I'm going to hit face every turn, and then you're going to have to spend your turns deciding where to trade. You're going to make the trades for me, buddy. And I think Catman just dictating that early on is going to decide the tempo of this game
Which,
a little bit.
you know, honestly, and I will say Subject 9, I think, is the play you got to have. It's just going to draw so many cards. But why would the militia commanders be in your deck if you only want to go face? Like, that's one thing they do not do.
Yeah.
That is why I find them to be a little bit an interesting inclusion. But you know, we say that he's already put 14 damage on the board here, and most of that was over the last 2 turns. And this is really it's a tougher spot. Like Ron's gonna have to probably he just picked up Unleash the Beast if he would rather use that, but he would have to otherwise use these secrets to kind of abate some of the.
Here's the thing, I actually really like how Catman played out his last 2 turns here. Oh, hold on, gonna take a look at these Zephyrs options. Holy, that's
Wow,
filthy.
multi-shot. Yeah, that's a good.
God,
I mean,
Zephyrs is filthy.
it's hard to be shocked by, because I mean, Zephyrs does what
Yeah.
it's supposed to do. It gives you the right card whenever you.
But I was gonna say, I really like how Catman chose to play out those last couple turns, because he essentially he knew that it was likely that Ron was going to be developing some sort of minion around the stat line of 4/4 around turn 5, whether that be Subject 9, whether that be an Animal Companion, whether that be something like maybe a Houndmaster Shaw, and he sort of set up for that by playing out his face cards first and then protecting his board with the Militia Commander as a removal of sorts. And so in that role in the deck, I think we actually see it shining a little bit, and I'm glad that he chose to play it out like that.
I will say that was a pretty big misplay by Catman there. He realized that this is Rat Trap after he played the coin, knowing that he could not. He was, I think, trying to play the Frothing Berserker as well, but
Oh,
playing the
shit.
Frothing Berserker would have brought out the 6/6.
Yeah, that'll
So
do it.
he also during that process gave up lethal next turn because he could have coined Hellscream into Inner Rage, which would
Wow.
have been, you know, 12
Yeah, I didn't
damage.
catch that. Yeah, that would have absolutely banged down on him. It's unfortunate that he missed that. But
And knowing that, yeah, knowing it's Rat Trap without any other secrets out, you know that it's not going to get frozen. So now he has to kind of play around.
he's gonna play from behind now too. Really, he basically just gave board to
I
Ron.
mean, yes and no. He's playing from behind a little bit. Obviously, the Ziliax pull is pretty important there, but
Yeah.
he needs to make sure he has a minion that can attack first next turn, so that way he can play against that that potential freezing trap, because he doesn't want to play Grom and then enrage it and then just have it get
And then
shipped
Grom
right back
costs
to
10,
hand.
and then you have no way to proc like damages off of it.
Well, he has a sec. He does, actually no. He's used one of the
No,
enrages
he's already used it on the
Yeah.
Berserker.
So this is this is the play you need right here. So you're hoping the that Ron is going to go ahead and clear off obviously what you've got on board right now. The Frothing Berserker is far too dangerous to leave up, but at the same time he has every single secret in his deck, and you know that, which includes Freezing Trap, Snipe, Snake Trap rather. Yeah, Secret Trap is a secret, and a Pressure Plate. So Pressure Plate's obviously dangerous too, because if you play Grom down, then you Inner Rage.
Oh
Pressure
boy.
Plate kills it.
See, if you're Ron, I know that you're dropping either Shaw or Spellbinder or Sandbinder, and then 2 secrets. But I think the combination of which ones you do is really important. So
Sure.
something with Inner Rage, or not Inner Rage, but Snipe, is that it interacts with Grom in a very okay. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but if you were to play that and Catman were to have played around the 2 secrets being Freezing Trap and Pressure Plate, then Grom would have gotten procced for free and would have had Rage for without having to use the Inner Rage. So
Now that there was actually one of the better outcomes for Catman, because he threw the Militia Commander out there, gets sniped, does not die, and then he immediately tries to attack with it, gets Freezing Trap.
regains
so now
the health.
he knows. Yeah, he regains it. It's in his hand, but he also now knows that he can play Grom without it being frozen, because Freezing Trap's already been played. But did RonMexico lull him into a false sense of security, and does Catman know that Pressure Plate is a thing? Because if he tries to play that Grom, it's just gonna die.
Yeah, I was gonna say I still would have liked playing Pressure Plate the turn before, just because it interacts with so many dangerous cards that you don't want to have your opponent get off. But I mean, I think nothing wrong with getting it out now. It's still gonna deny that the Grom play, and those secrets are really your best line of defense against like a surprise lethal or like burst from Catman. So good that he's keeping him up and getting the bow to go with it.
For sure. The counterplay here now though is that he can wait till next turn, play Grom with the Cruel Taskmaster instead, not worry about triggering Pressure Plate, but A, can he survive until the next turn, because he's already facing some pretty severe pressure. He's going to have to play that Ziliax to relieve some of the pressure here. He can play that with the Restless Mummy in fact. But now you can see that Tiamat was actually drawn by RonMexico, which means he can just put something in the way. Oh, the Inner Rage. He's gonna use Inner Rage right now. Trigger that Pressure Plate. And all right. I don't hate that, but I mean he's gonna have to get through taunt next turn, which means that he's not gonna be able to go directly face.
I think there were a lot of questionable things that happened with that turn. One thing in particular, I think, is choosing to clear the Zephyrus over something like the Shaw. I think the Shaw is probably one of your highest value targets if you know anything about the Hunter matchups, because it allows you to sort of never really lose board short of a brawl or some sort of a hard removal coming out of hand. And then, not sure how I feel about the Inner Rage being thrown away either. I don't think that you fear a 1/1 too much.
Let me throw this out instead. So he was triggering the secret, which was good, obviously, and now he has the Taskmaster go ahead and hit the Tiamat, play the Restless Mummy, clear the Tiamat, and he still has another Taskmaster now to go ahead and execute the combo next turn. So I think this is actually going to be okay. He's not really in immediate danger of dying. There's 8 damage on board. Hero power is 10, 13 with the weapon. So even with Kill Command, that still puts him one shy of lethal. And that Zul'jin just said, I don't care about anything you just discussed, because I'm gonna get played this turn.
You know, it would have been
replay
super
every
great.
secret.
Is Coin. Coin would have been really great to proc Pressure Plate, but the Rat Trap sort of threw that off curve.
Well, yeah, that's why I liked having that as your turn 7 play, and just go right from Coin into Hellscream into an enrage, and it's clear he knows that's what he wants to do. He's been trying to accomplish it the entire time, but Zul'jin just completely blows this whole plan up because now it's 5 extra health. There's no way, there's no enrage, so he has nothing that he can go ahead and play the Grom down and get any extra damage. And he realizes this, of course, Catman does, as with every secret being replayed, he was just 2 turns away from being dead.
Oh, and that brand is just a nail in the coffin for him.
So that's going to be 1-0 for RonMexico with a win for the Highlander Hunter, which I guess is not too surprising. It's pretty much one of the most powerful decks in the meta. It wasn't touched during the nerfs, and its primary opponents were, so that's not too shocking. So now let's see where we go. So we've got Quest Druid still or I'm sorry, not Quest Druid. I'm looking at the wrong one. We've got Quest Shaman, Tempo Rogue. Wait, why the hell? What the hell am I?
Quest
Tempo
Shaman,
Rogue.
Tempo Rogue?
Tempo Rogue, yeah. Tempo.
Okay.
Watch your back.
Now, neither of them are playing Rogue. What am I even talking about? Are they playing? No.
Yes. RonMexico is playing Tempo Rogue actually right now.
Which is what we're going to see here. So we're going to see the Aggro Warrior again versus the Tempo Rogue. And again, Catman doesn't have a 1-drop, which is, kind of the point of Aggro Warrior. And RonMexico has a pretty decent hand. He's got Sap, he's got some removal, he's got double, or not double, he's got Backstab and
Like a
SI
coin into
and
SI,
Pulse
which
Rate.
is really big if you're looking for those tempo swings. Matches up well into stuff like Town Crier, stuff like Berserker.
Sure. I mean,
just
another option here would be just Backstab and then Dagger Up, clear that Berserker, and then you have the counter Hench Clan Thug for next turn. But Militia Commanders in the deck, and that just eats these Hench Clan Thugs up for breakfast. Kind of deliberating here, because I mean, if you do play the coin SI, it just gets immediately taken out by the Berserker being a 3/1 next turn. So yeah, he's gonna go with the coin Backstab, or Backstab Hero Power, clear the board, and clear the way for a few options next turn. Catman just plays everyone's favorite Frothing Berserker, which is always, it's a card that you have to consider whether or not you can get away with removing it or not removing it right away. Typically, the answer to that is no. But he's gonna take the line that we discussed and go ahead and put down the Hench Clan Thug. It's a 4/4. Bad news is Catman's got the perfect response with Militia Commander. It's gonna pump that Frothing Berserker up to a 4/4.
Sorry, I'm back. My mom was talking to me, and again, we sort of see the Militia Commander working out well for Catman. Like I think it's just consistently sort of dealing with these mid-sized minions, and in a kind of efficient way, and I think the end result that you get when you play something like Militia Commander is a little bit different than the Restless Mummy, because with Militia Commander it's sort of got a thick butt and a little bit less of an attack, so you end up with like a little bit of board presence but a little bit less of that sort of, what's the word, kamikaze effect, or it doesn't exactly oh my god, what am I trying to say? That Restless Mummy is like 2 Frostbolts. Militia Commander is more like a Fireball.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
Acid
yeah,
trip
I mean,
take.
it has its own advantages. Obviously, the capability to hit into like Divine Shield and still get through and do some damage on the next swing. But yes, Ron's got the sap, and Frothing Berserker is always a great target for sap. I guess I kind of question playing it right now, but he wanted to combo into the SI, so I can understand. Frothing's just going to come back down again, perhaps, or no, he's going to go double Phantom Militia.
I don't know if there are a lot of. Oh, whoa.
Not going to utilize the second Echo of the
Interesting.
Phantom Militia. I mean, putting a Frothing Berserker behind a taunt is usually good because you have to go through the taunt to get to the Berserker, which means you're going to have to do damage to the taunt a lot of the time, and the Berserker is going to be stronger. So here, even if Ron does use his actual
So
board
many
cards to get
options.
through, he's going to have to use that Hook Scimitar to take out the Berserker, and by that time, it's going to be a 6/4.
Here's a play for Ron for this turn. Woggle pick, bump off the 2/4, trade both your minions into the Berserker, drop the Corsair, and then evolve the Corsair into like a 5-drop.
I still think he would prefer to get the Scimitar out there, which I think is what he's about to do right here.
Yeah, if you have the combo potential, you know, best do it
Yeah,
now
it's
when you're low on
and
cards.
that allows you to also go ahead and drop the Corsair.
You can still do the evolve play.
Okay, he's gonna go ahead and use the minions on the Berserker instead of his face, which does save him some health, which is important for. Unfortunate.
Yeah,
It is important for the rogue, you know, with the lack of healing that it has. But he just evolved a 3/3 Dread Corsair into a 3/3 Faceless Lurker.
Both with taunt actually, so.
Yeah, literally the same minion. Unfortunate.
Greenskin gonna be coming down probably next turn, give him a bit more trading power and a bit more gas in that Scimitar tank of his. But Catman again using those 1 damage enrage pings for some spot removal instead of some like the enrage procs as they are typically used in the deck.
I don't know, but I mean, he has 2 charged minions in hand. He's got Grom, he's got Leroy, and nice Leroy combo there is Leroy. You ping it with the 2/2, and then you Bloodsworn Mercenary, and now you have 16 damage screaming in. Obviously, you got to get through the taunts, and if you're not through the taunts, then none of that matters. So he is kind of playing a little bit of a balance, between the two. You want to go ahead and make sure you're still clearing the board on your opponent's side.
But
and
he used it to kill a 1/1 is the thing. Like when
I don't
like,
really know why. I mean, I think he just wanted the body down. He figured you might as well kill something.
And it doesn't even matter too much for like denying lackeys because the Titanic lackey is still on the board. Like you still get like Togwalkle procs and all that.
Does throw Grom, gets rid of something, and is a big enough threat that you can't just leave it unchecked. Because if it does happen to get through and deal 10 damage to your face, you're gonna have a.
Grom's getting wrecked this turn.
Oh, Grom has to die. Now, the problem here is he has to use his 2 non-taunt minions to do it, the 5/4 and the 1/1, or he can use his face, but that's pretty dangerous. It's going to put him down to 6 health if he happens to do that. So I would imagine the Life Drinker is coming down here in some capacity. But is he trying to think maybe I can go ahead Life Drinker Eviscerate and use the 3/1 taunt?
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, if you're at 19 health, you know, you're afraid of dying, but not so afraid that you can't pull off like a better trade to keep a Greenskin alive, I think.
Well, this is a scary spot for Catman, representing 4, 9, 10 damage just, from what you can see. And we know with Caster Vision, he's got an additional 3 behind with the Waggle Pick instead. So he's got what he needs.
Quick, Catman, play the Inner Rage and ping off the
Oh,
one
no.
before. Easy.
He's got the combo too, but you can't do it. You just can't.
You can't do it, yeah. He's got nothing. What? Oh, okay. Just trying to draw as
Battle
many as
Rage
possible.
to draw.
Something like Ziliax could theoretically keep him in the... Oh, no, because he's got 4 mana.
Yeah, not enough. He's going to have to use his hero.
Oh, he drew the Ziliax too. That's unfortunate.
It's not, though, because right now he can't die from what we see. So...
Well, hold on. Let's see what he rolls off of Pharaoh.
Obviously. I mean, there's also you can Waggle Pick, and if you really want to try to high roll, Waggle Pick and try to pop that Life Drinker back to your hand and see if
that
you
would be
can,
such a flex. I would love to see that.
That would be a brutal way to end the series.
So, you're actually in a bit of a pickle if you're Ron right now, because you're saying, do I just fully commit to face and make my lines a little bit riskier and open myself up to a little bit of damage, or do I trade off and sort of keep playing the tempo game in the hopes that I run him out of cards?
I think you have to trade. I mean, I think at this point we're seeing that he's going to commit to the trade. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and get rid of the important stuff here, and still do quite a bit of damage. Because now it really depends on what. Oh, the other inner rage. What
Oh my gosh.
what can Catman do to me? Which at this point, the worst thing he can do is go ahead and get that Ziliax down, the Restless Mummy down, clear a ton of this board.
Unity.
Does he go ahead and hit the Ziliax for inner rage here? It's extra health.
I don't think you do, because simply because the one attack minions on Ron's board means that there are likely a couple of probable situations where Ron is forced to play inefficiently and get 2 procs on Ziliax because of the 2 health.
Yeah, I think you use the inner rage on the 3/2, clear out the 5/4. I mean, you also have to consider too, like Ron is at 0 cards. He has no cards in hand. He's not going to use these. You know, I like the possibility of leaving on board, but he does have the 8 charge in hand right now. Both
He's got no
working.
Bloodsworn Mercenary though, so how useful is it really, you know?
I mean, that's a good draw right there. Minimize the amount of impact that Ziliax can have.
Get a nice little value trade-off, maybe bounce it again.
I think you do. I
Although,
mean,
see, here's the thing though. Ron has not, or Catman is rapidly running out of cards that can directly kill you, and I suppose you just rip it. You got so many Battlecry minions in hand, or in your deck, you know that.
right, and I think at this point, you know, the deck is thinning. The you know, you've already used a Hook Scimitar. You've got a Waggle Pick, obviously that you just broke. There are not too many other, like a weapon draw would be the worst draw for you, because then you'd have to overwrite the Waggle Pick and you can't utilize it immediately. I think I would have waited to swing, because now, yeah, here it is. You've got the you know, the South Sea deckhand. You could have potentially put an additional 2 damage out this turn. So I think it would have been more beneficial for him to hold on to the weapon swing there, but you know, he opted to just go ahead and throw it down. But now with the Attorney Drover too, that's gonna.
It's gonna absolutely put
delay.
in some work,
Oh, the
man.
second one, it's gonna delay the game
Oh my
even
gosh,
longer.
yeah.
And you talked about, you know, Catman doesn't have necessarily in Ron's eyes a way to directly kill him from hand, but at this time, you know, we've already seen both eviscerates. We've both seen both South Sea deckhands. So really, short of like a crazy Myra's, you really aren't dying after Catman either. Like, he's got to establish a board, and it's just not happening at the moment. And all the while, your armor is slowly increasing.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a really grindy game, and the player who manages to grind it out more will likely end up taking it, so.
And that's a good card right there.
Oh man.
Gonna generate some more
Ton of
dudes, and
value.
also clear the.
A lot of really good trading power with that Attorney Rubber as well.
And I think that might be the best lackey to have drawn.
My gosh. Lucky even fits into the deck. It's like it never even came from somewhere else.
So doing a quick damage count here, we've got 1, 2, 4, 6 showing, and we know there's 8 in hand. So there's 14 damage plus whatever you draw and the lackey that you get off of the next live wire lance swing. So this is starting to get actually concerning for Ron. He's seen that Leroy's been held in hand for like basically 5 or 6 turns now, and has to have a good idea that that's what it is.
Yeah.
So many
So-
options.
8. Man, so if you're Catman, you're just looking for 1 or 2 more like key cards to sort of push it over the edge. But oh boy.
Temple Berserker not the strongest draw. The Scimitar was able to be activated. Let's see what we get for a lackey here. Titanic Lackey. Oh, that's good.
That's insane. That you just feel so much safer with that up, because even if he gets like some insane swing card, it basically buys you 1 full trade's worth of time in order to make like aggressive plays.
And he's gonna use
the armor procs
now.
too. Whoa.
Whew.
That's some big brain stuff.
no inner rage on anything. I would imagine seeing inner rage on something behind the taunt. But yeah, this is bad still. Backstab not going to be a draw that will help. It's still lethal.
Dude, Catman uses inner rages like it's Ray of Frost. Dude, like he just uses them in such unconventional ways.
That was an odd game for an aggro warrior. I mean, like you said, it ended up turning into a grindy match, and became all about who had card advantage. And as Rogue in top deck mode is typically bad since a lot of those cards rely on combo to be in any way powerful, and the card quality is just not as strong on an individual basis there. So you were really looking for Myras there if you were RonMexico, but he just never found it, and Catman was able to eventually grind out the game. And Ziliax, that was huge. That was a huge turn.
Yeah, Rogue definitely with a lot higher highs, but definitely with a lot lower lows too, and when you're only getting just a single one drop every turn with no combos, no healing, those warriors can keep making use of that hero power, keep making use of those mechs and sort of take you out of the game. So Catman coming back a little bit.
Yeah, nothing really came to pass on that weapon swing that he could have held on to. But if he had picked up something like SI7, or if he had picked up the second life drinker, he could have used one of those to maybe put himself over the edge. But it didn't end up happening, so not really did not really matter. So now we'll have to see: does he re-queue up the rogue, or does he shift on over to the quest shaman? It's a little bit heavier quest shaman. I don't think he will. Yeah, he's not going to. He's going to stick with the rogue. But we are going to see the quest shaman, Catman's quest shaman.
Oh, okay.
And
So
actually, both these quest shamans are a little bit heavier.
oh, and if you're Ron, you're actually pretty happy to see a hand like that. You've got the Lackey generation, you've got the scimitars, you've got like everything that you could possibly want in sort of an early opening hand. But I mean, Catman not disappointed to see his hand either with the both the Lackey generation and the Lackey interaction cards with the Wasp.
Well, he's about to get that Slurper into a Lackey. Ends up being a Goblin Lackey. Not the best one. I think it's so it's probably not worth playing at this point. But next turn he doesn't have a play in hand. He would just have to totem. Ron's going to go ahead and play the Miscreant, which you always love to be able to play on two if you can. Picks up a Goblin Lackey to give rush and a Kobold to deal some direct damage. And it's going to be, like you said, it's going to have to be RonMexico being aggressive and end this game before it starts getting into the deeper turns.
Yeah, because if you're Catman, you just slowly spiral it, right? It's sudden. At first, you're just doing a couple battle cries. You're drawing a couple cards every turn. You're generating a Lackey every turn. But when Ron is in top deck mode and you're only getting one card, and Catman's generating 4 cards, and he's bursting you, and he's dropping minions on the board, and then he's playing Lackeys to generate other minions, the game quickly falls out of your favor. So Ron's looking to end that game and end it fast, as you said.
He's going to use that Rush Lackey to go ahead and clear the board. And now, going to use that Sludge Slurper that he just top decked to see what he gets for a second Lackey. He picks up the Titanic, which is not going to be the one he uses. Actually, I like where he's going with this because we're going to see that Sandstorm Elemental. That's a board clear right there. That's good. That was a good. Progressed
no
well.
No backstab on the follow-up
well.
means that if Ron wants to easily clear the 2/2, he's going to have to invest something like the Kobold Lackey or the South Sea deckhand. The Edwin combo potential is there, but I wonder if you don't see any Earth Shocks or minimal Earth Shocks in Catman's deck, I wonder if you save it for a really big play, just set up the fattest Edwin that you can.
I think what we see here is Lackey into the 2/2. 1/1 into the, or your weapon into the 1/1,
Dagger
and then
1/1.
you throw a hook scimitar, and be ready to go ahead and throw that down the next turn into the face.
Then
You
that
could
gives
also see Lackey into Edwin, I guess, if you really want.
Yeah, I think the play that you described is stronger because it sort of gives you time on your next couple turns after you play the scimitar to spend your mana on developing your minions, and then sort of use the scimitar as you wish to sort of keep him off the board.
And the let's see, the questing adventure is going to get a draw, and the Titanic Lackey is going to allow Catman here to finish the quest, which starts to become dangerous. Oh no, he's not going to throw the Titanic Lackey down. Not really sure why not. I guess it would have immediately got chewed up by the Scimitar in the Lackey, but now instead, we're going to see some face damage. And a pretty decent sized Van Cleef is going to be a 6/6.
Yeah, and if you're Ron, I mean, you're kind of happy that he didn't finish the quest there, you know? I mean, you get a 6/6 on the board, you make sort of passive battle cries hurt that much more, and definitely putting him on the back foot here a little bit.
Well, he's going to go ahead and complete the quest and use the weaponized Wasp to get rid of the 6/6 Van Cleef, I would imagine.
I mean, at this point, Catman could go all face, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's been playing very unconventionally, so.
I think part of that might be due to the fact that he's got the Earthquake in hand, though, and he knows that he's got that reset button. There's really nothing in Ron's deck that can survive 7 damage across the board. So I think that's giving him a little bit more latitude to be, to be a little bit, take it a little bit slower.
So many options.
Definitely.
I think
so
Ron senses that it's starting to shift here.
Yeah,
needs to
I was
start
gonna say,
going
you better start turning on the pressure if you're Ron. You're looking for those life drinker bounces, you're looking for that quick burst,
Sure.
looking for getting as many weapon charges off as you can before the healing and the walking fountains close you out.
Now, in fairness, too, he's got a hand of damage. You know, he's got pick on board. He's got life drinker in hand. See, life drinker for 3. He can go ahead and hit the eviscerate button for another 4. And if he can go ahead and go face, he could get 4 damage. And so he had 11 in theory, but now with that Ziliax in play, he's going to have to go ahead and get through that first. And you know he wants to use the Waggle Pick proc for something like the life drinker, but that's not a bad pickup of a reborn minion, the Cartoot Defender.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. I mean, the Ziliax are really, really good play for Catman here, just because all of Ron's damage options are sort of very high, like sort of spiky damage in terms of like big eviscerates, 4 damage weapons. There's not a lot of backstabs, SIs, deckhands that you're seeing in Ron's hand right now, and that's gonna make Ziliax do a lot more sort of bang for his buck, so to speak.
And now Ron prioritized using the eviscerate to clear the 3/2 Ziliax and not allow it to heal again, which is interesting. He really just didn't want to give any extra health if he could avoid it. And what an evolve there to get the heckle.
Holy mother. That could be
That-
game right there. I mean,
I think that is
short of a top deck sap.
literally the best thing he could have.
Holy crap.
Top deck sap has to be it.
God, that might as well be an Earth Elemental if you're Ron. Is Ron running 2 saps or 1?
He is running 2 saps, so 2
Okay.
out of 19 chance, and that is not it.
Wow.
So let's see, 3, 4, 7, 8, 11 showing on board right now, plus a lacking hand. So if you do go ahead and use a life drinker, you can't attack without dropping yourself down 3 more and putting yourself into lethal range. So, I guess you are healing. He's saying, you know what? He knows that the writing's on the wall. The game ends here, one way or another. He's using a life drinker to give himself as much juice as possible and say, you know what?
Take the chances that you got, yeah.
Yeah, I hope I get damage next turn. I hope I get through this.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you can do. Even if the sort of path to winning isn't clear, you just take the best percentage chance and then you leave it in your opponent's hands and you say, I either draw this or I don't, man. Up to you.
Yeah, sometimes you can't play for future turns because there just isn't a future turn. But Witch's Brew is a humongous pickup off the
Massive.
battle cry, and that ends the game.
That's
I
gonna
believe
be
right
game.
there. That is exactly what he wanted to see.
So Catman going to be taking the series 2-1. We saw some really unorthodox sort of ways of using that aggro warrior deck, but eventually works out for him. And the sort of more healing, control heavy Battlecry Shaman going to work out for him in the end. So
Well, Ron's going to definitely play a Cartoot Defender here. He's going to have to.
yeah, I mean,
But oh, there's the sap.
God, and you got Hagatha coming up. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like one of those false windows of opportunity, because if you're on, you're like, I've got the sap, you know, I can do this, and then Catman's just got a hand packed full of value. You know, it's bad news bears every turn from here on out. So.
Yeah, we knew he needed to end this game quickly, and you know, Catman, he just got there. He just was able to turn the corner and keep himself alive long enough, and well, Hero Power plus Life Drinker means I don't care about your taunt. That's gonna be game for sure.
Question once again proving that it's quite a viable deck post nerf. You know,
Absolutely.
it's got all kinds of control possibilities, it's got all kinds of aggro possibilities, and you know, Catman showing it can be built a number of different ways too. You know, you can take it in whatever direction you're sort of looking for to fit your Shielded Conquest lineups. So
Yeah,
gonna be game.
it bursted in popularity into this round. There are a lot more people brought it, and I think we're going to see it become a pretty key part of lineups. I think it's one of those decks that has pretty decent spread against most classes, so it'll probably rarely get banned. It'll probably rarely get shielded, but it's probably going to be played in most matchups.
Yeah, definitely very versatile deck.
Well, an impressive win there for Catman. He did get the job done with the Aggro Warrior. He got the job done with the Quest Shaman. So that is going to eliminate RonMexico from the tournament. And I don't know if I know the initial thought was that Shadow Ranger might play. I don't know if he's still around or if that's still the intent. Catman is too tired, so he's too tired for interview. So I doubt he is going to want to play tonight again. So that is probably it, and that's all we're going to get tonight. But hey, I didn't think we were going to get matched tonight, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, always good to see some crazy Hearthstone, especially kind of interesting games like that where players like slugging it out, coming really close.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good series too. You know, some interesting maneuvers on both sides. I don't know if maybe we could have seen maybe a little bit of tired play, maybe not completely optimal, but I think overall both players played pretty well. Catman just had he just had the right matchup there at the end to turn the corner against the rogue and just freeze him out as we got to the later stages of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Catman's next opponent gonna be what is that? Is it anybody he wants within his bracket, or is it Shadow Ranger?
No, it's definitely Shadow Ranger. Yeah, the bracket
Oh,
from here on
right.
out
No,
is
it's
static.
just an
Yeah.
actual like. Okay, it's just a fixed bracket then. Makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't rotate, so he's gonna have to play Shadow Ranger, which he already has. He played him back in the group stage, so this will be our first rematch of a group, two group members playing each other. And Catman, of course, did not win that match as Shadow Ranger was undefeated. So that's gonna do it for us. I think we'll go ahead and get that bracket posted. Everybody can see it. And over the next few days, people can start obviously scheduling their matches, and we'll move through this tournament. So I don't think it's going to last all the way up to the start of the new THL season, but we will see. Everyone has until 9/9 to get everything done. So that's it. No interview tonight, and no second game. So Icon, thank you for being here tonight. Saku, thank you as well. I know you were one of my favorite ops, and slight smile. And yeah, that's gonna do it for us. So Icon, anything you want to say before we head off?
Nope. I mean, great games by everybody. Obviously super well played by both players, and congratulations to Catman for advancing in the tournament.
Absolutely. We will see him in the next round, and we will see you, the viewers, hopefully later this week with more matches. As I mentioned before, if you are ready to schedule your match, please use the stream sign up form, that same one that you used before, same one that's pinned in Discord. And we are revamping the sheet because it is getting a little janky, so stay tuned for that. But for now, we are off. I'm Donde, he is Icon, and Saku's opping. We are out. Thank you for being here tonight, and have a great evening.